Good evening. Everybody there can hear me? Miss Milas, are you able to hear me? Miss Arist,
Good
can you
night.
hear
I
me?
can hear you.
Okay, good evening. All
Good
right,
evening.
just giving the other person a few more minutes to join.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, good evening again. I think I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 persons. I was actually trying to call around to see if I can get all the persons. I should have 10 persons here, but so far I only see 5 persons. Mr. Thomas Smith, are you hearing me?
Yeah, so
Yes, I would just call the number that they gave me from BIFS 554-5198. But the person who wants to speak has a wrong number. Is that your number?
no, sir.
Oh,
You repeat the number, please?
Mhm.
Can you repeat?
554
No, it's 544.
5198.
The last 4 digits are
Oh,
correct. It's 544.
okay. All right,
That's
I'll
all.
correct that. Mhm. 54. Okay. All right, so it's now 6:14. Ordinarily, we should start at 6, but today being the first day, I know some persons
Good
will have
evening,
maybe
sir.
some
Your audio
challenges.
is breaking up. Hello?
Oh, it's breaking up.
Yes.
Let me see if I can do anything about that. See something. Okay. Are you hearing me any better at this time?
Much better.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. So as I was saying, we ordinarily would start at 6 and give persons a minute or two, up to maybe about 5 minutes before we begin. I should have 10 persons, but so far I only see 5, and I'm not going to wait any longer. So those who are early, I guess we can begin with you, and the others will join at some later point. My name is Donald Allen. I will be your tutor lecturer for this course, which is the business calculations, which is supposed to be for 14 lessons, 7 weeks. Being the summer session, is going to take place twice per week, Wednesday and Saturday. Now, I did email each of you a outline of what we're going to be doing today. Did everybody see, Miss? Let me ask, Miss Minus. Did you get a copy? Did you see the email?
Yes, I did. Simple interest?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
did.
Miss Marsh, did you see it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, you did. Miss Bellew, Chanel Bellew.
Yes, I got it.
Yep, okay, and Smith, Thomas Smith. Mr. Smith, are you there?
Yes, sir. I received it as well.
You did receive it. Okay, and Damika, all right,
Yes, I got it.
you got it. Okay, all right. So all of you should have received that. Now, there's a textbook that we use, but Miss Dean mentioned that she hasn't gotten the textbook as yet. So she's saying that she should get it by the end of this week. I try to make it a little easier for you since you don't have the book by just copying some of the information into the document that I emailed to you, but it's not going to be every lesson that I'll be doing that, because I'm presuming that all of you will get your book by at least next week, Wednesday. Okay, so you should be able to follow from the text when we make reference to it. I use the book extensively, so if you're wondering whether you should get it, it is going to be used if you do get the book. And if you don't have it, then it will kind of set you back. Okay, so I just want to do a brief introduction. I don't know if you could just unmute do your camera briefly so I could see who I'm talking to, and just introduce yourself briefly. I'll start with myself. Let me see. Allow this to hello. Okay, allow. What's going on here? Okay, so I'm currently at home. As I said, my name is Donald Allen, and I've been working with BIFS. I'm not even sure how many years, but it's been a little while teaching the business calculations as well as college math. Okay, I haven't done the Zoom thing in a little while, but I guess once we get into this lesson, the little practice will help to bring me back up to speed. I am a vice principal in the public school, and so that's my day job. But I've been teaching with BIFS for more than 10 years. Okay, I really don't remember. It could be close to 20 years. So that's me, and I guess you'll see me on Saturday because this image looks kind of very dark. Okay, but we see each other face to face on Saturday. All right, so let me go to Miss Marsh. You could just show us your face and just say a little bit about yourself. Miss Marsh, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay, all right.
Okay, my name is Krista Marsh, and I currently work at Fidelity Bank. I've been there for the past 5 years. I recently went into a different position, which is merchant services. So I'm
Okay.
now a merchant services administrator, and I've currently been in that role since last year, August.
Okay, so how long have you been at BIFS? This is your first course, or?
No, this is my second course. I would have done business communications. I started
Okay.
that in January.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Miss Marsh,
You're
for the
welcome.
introduction. Okay, Miss Damika. Damika. Mhm.
Hi.
Okay.
Just one moment.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Tamika Arsteed. I am currently employed at Omni Financials Group Limited as a administrative assistant. I've been working for Omni for 3 years.
Okay. All right. And how long have you been at BIFS?
From January of this year.
Okay, so this would be your second class as well, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Miss Ariste. Miss Chanel Bellew.
Yeah, it's Baloo. You're
Baloo.
pronouncing it right.
Okay. Okay.
I work at Commonwealth Bank. I'm a shared services clerk. I've been there. This year is going to make 6 years. I mostly deal with like dividends and salary payments, etc. I've been at BIFS since January, and this is my I did 2 classes already, and I'm doing 2 classes now. So
Okay.
yeah, this would be my 4th class, I guess.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Miss Bellew. Okay. Who else do we have there? Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith.
Good day. I think a lot of the see me Saturday because my personal computer is dead, but I'm on my family's PC and doesn't have a camera. But
Okay,
my name is Thomas Smith. I also work at Commonwealth Bank. I've been there a little over, I think, 2 months now. I've been with Bistrom since January. This is my second or third class because I'm also taking a Spanish class with this
okay,
as well.
okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Smith. I guess I'll see you face to face on Saturday, God's willing. Miss hold on. Is that Minus? Okay, Miss Sharice Minus. Yes, Miss Minus. I think you need to unmute yourself, Miss Minus.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
My name is Sharice Minus. I work at Deltec Bank and Trust Limited. Been there for about 6 years. I work in reconciliation.
Okay.
My first day at BIFS.
Today's your first day?
Yes,
Okay, so it's your first course. Okay.
yes.
Welcome. Okay. Thank you, Miss Minus. I think I saw someone else just join. Miss DeVoe. Miss DeVoe? Miss DeVoe? I think I saw someone else just joined. Miss DeVoe.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we were just doing some introductions. So I
Can you hear me?
I'm
I do
hearing you.
apologize for my
We were
tardiness.
just doing some introductions. So I'm hearing you.
I apologize for my tardiness.
So just give a brief introduction of yourself, what you do, and if you want to show us what your face.
Okay, hold on.
Just brief, yes.
I don't camera.
Just brief, yes.
Okay. So my name is Aisha DeVoe. I am, oh, it's not cancel. Okay, so my name is Aisha DeVoe. I am employed with the Central Bank of the Bahamas. I am an administrative assistant there and trying to complete the banking certificate and the financial service diploma, both
Okay.
at one go. Yes, sir.
All right. So how long you been at BIFS?
This would be my third go at it. I'd taken a break.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Yes, sir.
5, 6. All right. I think that's all the questions. Let me just double check. Okay. All right. So I am going to share my screen. Let me see. I need to mute. If you could all mute yourselves. Mhm. All right. Okay. So let me do the sharing. Hmm? Yeah, that it. Yeah. And then go to mm, 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 mm. Okay, so. mm, Okay, so let's see. All right. So on the information that was shared with you via email, which all of you said you saw, the first page, a few pages consists of a course outline. Okay, I have a contact number there that you can WhatsApp if you need to get in touch with me. So it's not a phone that I actually answer. So you just message me and I'll get back to you. And the email is there, dokal@gmail.com. Okay, the first 7 weeks is shown for what we're going to be covering. It's business calculations. And
Mr. Allen, you breaking up.
oh boy, I'm not sure what's going on with that. But okay. But can you all see the screen? The course outline?
Yes.
Okay. So the first lesson is, as you see there, simplest stress, which was chapter 10 in your book. We're not necessarily going to follow the order of the chapters in the book. We'll just indicate which chapter we are doing each day. So today we'll be doing chapter 10. Next class, we'll be looking at chapters 2 and 3. And you could just follow and see the sequence that we're going to be using as we proceed. Now on the third lesson, you'll see where it says test 1. And so it's just a basic test to see your understanding of chapters 2, 3, and 10. And there will be 4 of those tests, I think it is. And each one carries a 1.5% for a total of 6%. Then if you go down, lesson 5, you'll see another test, and that covers chapters 5 and 6. So once you have covered chapters 5 and 6, you get another test on that. And then on lesson 7, which is the 31st of May, we'll have our first midterm. Now the midterm is worth 15%, and you'll have 2 of those midterms throughout the course. And each one is 15% for a total of 30%. This thing is not advanced. Okay. So the second half of the course outline is shown here now. So that second half, you have another test 3 on the 7th of June, test 4 the 11th of June. And so each of those tests will just cover areas that we would have covered in the previous 2 or 3 lessons. And your second midterm is the 21st of June for another 15%. All right. So as I said earlier, our Saturday classes will be face-to-face from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, and the Wednesday classes will be via Zoom. The name of the text is shown here, and Ms. Dean promised to get some by the end of this week. So you could make every effort to see if you could get it at least by next week, Wednesday. All right. Next, we have the breakdown as to how we do our grading. So you see the grading scheme. It's A, B, C, and F. You must get at least 65 or above for your assignments and tests and quizzes to get a grade of C or better. We have homework for 4%. So the homework is given after every class. Now I don't mark the homework, but what I do is I expect you to show me that you did the homework. Once you take a picture of it, send it to me, then you'll be credited. So we have 14 lessons. You will get basically somewhere between 12 and 14 pieces of work for homework. Once you show me that you completed it, then you will be credited for having done it. And I don't mark it because the answer is given to you and you can check it yourself, but I just need to see evidence that you did the work. The 4 tests that you are required to do, each one is 1.5% for a total of 6%. Your 2 midterms is 15% each for a total of 30%. So before you go into your final exam, you should have 40% of your overall grade. And then the final exam is 60% for a total of 100. All right, your final exam is slated for the 1st of July, 2023. That's a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. All right, and I just have a couple things here mentioned regarding homework and test taking. As I said earlier, you're going to be given homework after each class and you're expected to show it by the next class. Okay, so we expect you to show it by the next class. So if you didn't do it by the next class, you just won't get credited for it. Okay, and we have the dates there for all tests and quizzes. Please try to make sure that you are available to take your tests and quizzes on the dates that's on the course outline. Okay. Okay. All right. Now I try to call upon persons throughout the lesson, so I expect you to be, fully participating. You shouldn't be driving while you doing this class. We need you to be fully engaged. You are asked to mute your microphone, but if you need to ask a question, you can unmute and ask at any time throughout the lesson. Okay, but be prepared to be called upon at any point in the lesson. I try to make sure I call upon each person throughout the lesson at least a few times. Any questions so far? So I take it we are all clear on the course outline and there are no queries since I get no response.
I have a question.
Yes.
The midterm tests,
Mhm.
is that is that face-to-face?
Let me see. I think we have them on what days of the week now that is the midterms. Okay, that's a Wednesday. Now some of these I will be emailing to you. I will be emailing them to you and I'm going to give you a time to complete it by and send it back to me. So where it says, for example, that one on the 31st of May, the first midterm there, you may not actually get it on the Wednesday. You may get it the Thursday. I might say to you, I'll give you from say 9 in the morning till maybe 12 midday or 3 o'clock. We'll work out a time and you print it, you complete it, and you could either leave it at the BIFS office or you could scan it and send it to me. But I'll give you the details on that as we get closer to the time. But we won't be able, since we have part face-to-face, part virtual, some of these things I'll have to send to you. Now, if you cheat, you're only hurting yourself. So you are expected to do it under exam-like conditions, understand what you're doing, and answer the questions, send it to me, I'll mark it and get it back to you. But like I said, if you don't understand what you're doing and you let somebody assist you, when you go into the final exam, which is 60%, it's not going to help you. So I will use a sort of honor system with this, and I expect you to ensure that you do it on your own. All right, but we'll get more details on that as we get closer to the time. Any other questions? Okay, so if there are no other questions, then I want to begin today with the first topic that's on the course outline, which has to do with the title of the document I sent, which is Simple Interest. Now, I'm sure Simple Interest is not new to you. Anybody, let me just call on someone. Miss Marsh, can you hear Simple Interest? What do you think? Oh.
Like calculating the interest.
What is interest?
Interest is money. I don't know how to explain it. Like money added.
Okay, why is
Which is
why?
borrowed.
Okay, so is it only when we borrow that we add money?
That's when you know.
Okay,
Not only when you borrow, or if you do a deposit, you can gain interest from it as well.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Miss Marsh. All right, so interest then is either money earned from your investment or money that you have to pay for a loan. Okay, so those are, and in the diagram that you see there, it refers to money that you have to pay for a loan as the cost of borrowing money. Okay, so in this diagram that you're looking at, they're just focusing on a loan, but we can also earn interest from investments, but it's added to whatever you borrowed or whatever you save. But the title is Simple Interest. What other type of interest is there apart from simple interest? Ms. DeVoe, do you know of any other type of interest apart from simple interest? Ms. DeVoe, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is there?
Can you hear me? So,
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm trying to remember. Is there there wouldn't be a complex interest, right? Complex interest?
You hitting it kind of close. It does start with COM.
Compound, sorry.
Right.
Compound
Yes,
interest. Compound interest.
All right. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, sir. Okay.
All right. So today we will be focusing on the simple interest, but that's not the only form of interest. And a little later on, we'll be looking at the compound interest, and we're going to note the difference between the two. And I'm sure you'd have done some of this in your high school classes or at some other point. So it shouldn't be entirely new. But in this book, the only new term I see maybe here is this, which we probably wouldn't have used, where it refers to maturity value. Okay, so the maturity value is equal to the principal plus the interest. So you will see that term being used a lot in the book, referring to maturity value. They simplified as MV, and is equal to the principal, that's the amount you borrow, plus your interest. Maturity value could also be the amount you save plus your interest, but it's the total of the principal and the interest. All right, now this formula that you see here, the simple interest formula, I think many of you might even remember this from high school, but the basic formula for simple interest is principal times rate times time. Now I want you to note that for rate and time, you're given certain units that it should be given in. Miss Tamika Arist, what is the unit for rate? Miss Arist Tamika,
R,
what is the unit for rate?
the unit per,
Are you looking at the screen?
yes, R, I see, simple interest is equal to principal times R, rate would be
Okay,
R
the
times
R
time.
is okay. The R is just an abbreviation, but I'm asking you for the unit.
Or unit, the unit will be,
What's in the yellow box?
I see, stay as a percentage.
Right. So the unit is percent. So the rate is given as percent. All right. So the abbreviation is R, but the unit is percent. So anytime you see percentage there, that's referring to the rate. Okay.
Okay, all
Thank
right.
you. This minus, what's the unit for time in the formula?
As the time is years.
In years. Okay.
Yes.
So the time is stated in years. All right, so they give you a basic example here. It says John Carley borrowed $30,000 for office furniture. The loan was for 6 months at an annual interest rate of 8%. What are John's interest and maturity value? So interest, we see the formula is principal times rate times time. And then, so they showed it working. The working is right here to show you how they worked out the interest. Now, let me see. Miss, who did I not call? Mr. Smith. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mr. Smith, why do they have 6/12 in that formula?
At least so you're calculating it for 6 months, but 12 years in a month. I mean 12 months in a year, sorry.
12 months in a year, right?
Yeah.
So because the time is stated in years, you can't just put times 6. You have to put that 6 over the amount of months in a year. So if the question gives you months, then you have to put the months over 12 because there are 12 months in a year. What would happen if the question gave you days? Would you put 12 as your denominator? Anybody want to guess? What would you put as your denominator if the question was in days?
365.
Okay, it could be 365 because we have 365 days in a year. All right. So depending on what unit they give you for the time, you will have to put it in, you would have to change your denominator based on that unit. So months would be out of 12, days would be out of 365, or we'll look at, in some cases, 360. Also, if you're given in years, then you will just use as is. So if the question had said it was for 3 years, then it would be 30,000 times 0.08 times 3, instead of putting it over 12 or 365, because once it's in years, we use it as is. Can someone tell me why do we have a 0.8 there? 0.08?
That's how much percentage, it is.
Okay,
Yep,
so
to change the percentage to a decimal.
so what they did there was to change the percentage to a decimal. So that 8% is equal to 8% is equal to 8 over 100. And when you divide that out, you'll get the 0.08. So you'll find in this book, a lot of times when they're working with percentage, they will change it to a decimal form in the working. So that would end up, in this case, 0.08. So when you multiply the 30,000 times 0.08 times 6/12, we get the interest to be 1,200. And so the maturity value, which is shown to the right at the bottom of the screen, shows you then to get the maturity value, you would add the amount that you started off as your principal, along with your interest, and that gives you 31,200. Okay, so that's a basic calculation of calculating interest using the formula and then working out the maturity value. All right, so at this point, we okay, I'm going to ask you to, okay, this is another example here, but this time we have John borrowed $30,000. The loan was for 1 year at a rate of 8%. So you'll notice here that we still have the same principal, we have the same rate, but because the time was already in years, we don't write it as a fraction. Okay, so we simply just multiply the years times the rate times the time, and we get our answer added to the principal, and that gives you a maturity value, which is 32,400 in this case. All right, I give you a practice exercise there. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to work those three out. And I'm going to call on persons to give me their answer. All right, so give you a few minutes to work on those two. So the first two, just want you to work out the simple interest, and number three wants you to find the maturity value. All right, so you could work on those. Oops. Hello, you were trying to reach me? This is the BIFS math class. I was teaching at the time. You were supposed to be in the class? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. 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 Well, I sent an email with the lesson, and so you'll review that. Okay. Okay, so let me. Okay, Miss Minus. You want to give me the working for number one?
Okay, I multiply 16,000 with the rate 0.03
Mhm.
and times the 8 months,
Mhm.
which will give me 3,840.
So how did you do the 8 months?
I didn't I didn't calculate any, I just times it by 8.
Oh, but it's
That's what I
8
did.
months. Remember now, the unit for time is years.
Okay, hold on a sec.
Once you get months, you need to
Sorry,
put.
yes, divided by
Mm.
12.
Okay, so that should be 8
Yes,
over 12.
12, yes.
Mhm.
Right. 0. Okay, 1 second. $320.
Okay, that's $320. Okay, thank you. All right, now, this Marsh. Marsh.
Hi,
Okay, the second one.
I got 5,400.
Okay, I want the working first.
Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So 15,000 times 0.06 times the 6 years,
Mm-hmm.
and that got me to 5,400.
So why didn't you put the 6 years over 12?
I'm so sorry.
Because it's already years.
Hello?
Hello?
Mike, it dropped for a second. Did I give the answer before the call dropped?
You said 320, right?
Yes, yeah, because
Yeah.
it dropped, the zone to drop.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, times 0.06 times 6. All right. So we didn't put the 6 over 12 this time because the time was actually given to you in years. So you just use it as is. Right. Okay. Thank you, Miss Marsh.
You're
Miss
welcome.
DeVoe. Are you there? Yes, Miss DeVoe. The third one.
Still working on it, but I got 2 answers, but let me, hold on.
Just give me the working you started with.
I did 40,000
Mhm.
times 1.5.
How do you get the 1.5?
Sorry, times 8%,
When you change that to a decimal.
0.08
Mhm.
times 1.5.
How do you get 1.5?
I divided 18 by 18 months by 12.
18 by 12. And so
My answer is, hold on. I'm using a phone calculator. I didn't get a calculator. Sorry. 1.5. Okay. Divided by 1.08 times 1.5. 750. 7,500.
You calculate that again.
Pardon, sorry?
You said
40,000
times
0.08% times.
No, hold on. You put a percent sign?
Oh, I put a percent. Okay, sorry. Okay,
Just
so times
0.08.
1.5. I got 4,800.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that 4,000 is the interest. So what is the maturity value?
The matured, calculate the interest on the. Here, wait. Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Calculate the interest and the maturity.
So your first answer of 4,800, that is
Right.
the interest. Now, how do we get maturity?
Divided by 12. Sorry,
Okay,
by 18 months.
let's go back. What does it say about maturity value?
Maturity value is equal to principal plus interest.
Okay. So
So that'll be the principal, which is 40,000,
mhm.
and the interest will be 8%.
No. The interest rate. You
Sorry,
work
the
out-
interest. The interest would be 4,800.
Right.
Yeah.
So that gives you.
So that'll be, okay, hold on, let me calculate off. 40,000 plus 4,800. 44,800.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So anybody have any questions with any of those? No? So that means we could go to the more advanced work then. We're ready to move on. Okay. All right. Okay. So now in your book, after they look at working out maturity value using the formula, they have on page 266 going to 267 two methods of calculating simple interest and maturity value. So you'll see on this page there's what is called exact interest. And with the exact interest, the time is often given in days, and with exact interest, we use 365 days as our base. So you'll see right here, 365. All right. So in the example that's given to you on the right over here, you will see it says this person on March 4th, Peg Carey borrowed 40,000 at 8%. Interest and principal are due on July 6th. So you have the principal is 40,000. The principal is 40,000. The rate is 8%, but the time is from March 4th to July 6th. So they don't tell you how many days that is, they just give you the date range. So you will have to now work out how many days is it from March 4th to July 6th. How can we do that? Anybody? Anybody? Or I need to call someone. Miss Below, I don't think I heard from you. Are you there? Yes.
I answered like twice.
Okay, sorry. how would you go? How would you find out how many days is it from March 4th to July 6th?
Would you divide?
From March 4th to July 6th? What you gonna divide? I want to know how many days it is from March 4th to July 6th. Anybody want to answer? Or you could figure out how we're gonna work out how many days is it from March 4th to July 6th.
Will we count the days?
Repeat that.
Will we count the days from July? I mean, March 1st to July 6th?
Yeah. Okay. So how would you count it?
Oh, come on. I can't even see the screen.
No.
Oh, ta, ta, ta.
Any suggestions? I have to call somebody else then. All right. How many days are there? How many days are there in April?
30.
30.
30. All right. How many days are there in May?
31.
31 days.
Okay, April, May. And we have June. How many days in June?
30 days.
Okay. So we're going from March 4th to July 6th. So we have April, May, June. But we have part of March and part of June. So how many days is this particular case? Because we're going to July 6th.
6.
6 days. Okay. What about March? It starts on March 4th. So how many
4.
days are we looking at then?
4 days. No,
No,
3.
no.
Okay.
We start on March 4th. So we wouldn't have March 1st, we wouldn't have March 2nd, we wouldn't have March 3rd.
Will it be 28?
27.
27, 28. I'm not sure. How many days are there in March?
31.
So it's 27 days.
You said 27. All right. So how are we now going to work out how many days it is from March 4th to July 6th?
Add up the dates and then add up the
Okay.
dates.
All right. So we're going to add the 27, the 30, the 31, the 30, and the 6. And so we'll get 27 plus 30 plus 31 plus 30 plus 6. Anybody add those up?
124.
124. Okay. So that 124 that you see here in this working, that's what that represents. All right. Now, in your book, I'm going to move here. There's a table that's found on page 187. That's another way you can use to work out the amount of days between dates. It's called an exact days in a year calendar. So we're going from March 4th. So what you do, you look for March, and March 4th is right here. And then we're going to look for July 6th. You come down, July 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so you'd circle that. Now, can you see the two numbers that I circled? What are the two numbers that are circled?
187 and 63.
Okay, so it's 187 and 63. So once you find those two dates and you see how many days in a year that is, you just subtract. So 3 from 7 is 4, 6 from 8 is 2, and 1. So that gives you 124 days. So instead of counting the days in a month, we can use this exact days in a year calendar also that help us to work out the amount of days from one date to the next. Okay, so that's a page in your book that you may find useful when you're working out questions like this one. Okay, so to work out now the interest based on this information that we're given, they multiply the 40,000 times the interest rate of 8% times the 124 over 365. And because we are using what is called the exact interest method, whenever you work out days, it's going to be out of 365. And so when they work this out, they got $1,087.12. And to get the maturity value, you simply add that to the 40,000. And so that's how we get the $41,087.12. Any questions with this one? Okay.
No.
All right. So moving on to the next slide. So here, there's what is called ordinary interest. We basically have the same question. We're going from March 4th to July 6th. The principal is still 40,000. The rate is still 8%. But what is the difference here compared to when we were doing the question with exact interest? What you notice different with this one?
They only use in 360 days.
360 days. So with ordinary interest, it is out of 360 days. And in the days, I mean, they don't really use that much these days because everything is computerized and in the computer. But in earlier times, 360 was an easier number to work with if you didn't have a calculator than 365. So it was a quick way to just get an estimate of how much the interest would be. So this ordinary interest method uses 360 days to make the calculation a bit easier. Okay, but the working is the same working, but just a different denominator. So when you read your question, you have to look to see whether it says you're using ordinary interest or exact interest. So when it's exact interest, your denominator would be, if it's given in days, it would be 365. If it's ordinary interest, if it's given in days, it would be out of 360. Okay, that's just something for you to note there. All right, and this is the table we looked at a little earlier. And so we are going now to just another example to give you, just comparing the two. All right. So in this first one, you're asked to use exact interest. This one, you're asked to use ordinary interest. The same question, but you notice there's a difference in the answer. Which one gives you more interest? The exact interest or the ordinary interest?
Ordinary.
Ordinary.
Okay, so the interest ends up being higher in the ordinary because the denominator is smaller. Okay, so I have a question here, which you're going to come do the same calculation similar to what we just did here. So they basically have one question, but they want you to work it out using exact interest and then work it out using ordinary interest. So Freddie borrowed $20,000 at 7%. Freddie must pay the interest and principal on August 14. Calculate Freddie's interest and maturity value. Okay, so I'm going to do some parts of it together and then you'll do the calculation on your own. So I'm going to ask Ms. Damika. Can you see my mouse?
Yes, I can.
What should go right here where the mouse is?
Okay, one moment. Let me just calculate the date.
No. I just, what does
Oh.
exact interest mean?
Exact 365 there. Sorry.
Okay, so that should be 365. Thank you. All right, so that was Miss Damika. Let me see. Miss Baloo. And this other side here, what should go here? Ordinary interest.
360.
360. Okay. 360. All right. So, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith? Are you there? Let me see. With us. Okay, Miss March.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I want you to look at what we have here. Okay. What is the formula for interest again?
Principal times rate times time.
Okay. So basically that's the same thing they want on the rate time. Okay. All right. Thank you. Now, let me see. Minus? You there?
I'm here.
Okay. All right. Slow down. Looking at the question here. It says on May 6th, he borrowed 20,000 at 7%. What is the principal?
The principal is the 20,000.
Okay, so that's 20,000. And what is the rate?
0.7.
0.7?
Sorry, 0.07.
Okay, 0.07 and 0.07. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. So now, let me see. Miss Blue.
Yes, sir. Looking at the date now.
We need to get the date.
The date,
What dates do we have there?
so we're looking for from May 6th to August 14th.
Okay, so let me go back.
I'm looking on the calendar now, so May 6th will be 126 days.
All right. Yes.
And you have to pay back on August 14th will be 226 days.
Okay.
So that's 126 minus 226. 26.
So
that's
now it's the other way around.
Sorry, so it's 226 minus 126. 100 days.
100 days. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So we're gonna have times 100 over, for exact interest,
365.
365. And on the other side, it's gonna be
It'll be 100 divided by 360.
360. All right. Okay, so I want you to work out the interest. So do that calculation and work out the interest. Yes.
Oh, come on. So 198 divided by 365 times 1200. Okay. Okay, so I got that. So 20 times 0.07, it's 1400. Divided by 365 times 1400. This is 383.56.
Okay. Everybody got the interest for the exact.
20,383.
Want the interest.
Oh, the interest will be
383.56.
56, right?
That's Ms. Baloo, right?
Yes.
You said 380. Mm-hmm.
0.56.
Okay. And then for the other side,
388.89.
0.89.
okay.
You have to round it.
To two decimal places. We're dealing with dollars and cents.
Okay.
0.9.
89, right. All right. So all we have to do now to find the maturity value is to add the $20,000 to it. So the first one would be 383.56, and then 20,000, 388.89.
89.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So exact interest is out of 365. Ordinary interest 360. Yeah. Okay. All right. Very good so far. Okay. Now we have the formula for me see, Mr. Vo.
Hi.
Could you mute?
Pardon?
Could you mute for now?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. All right. So when we unmuted him. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So when we rearrange the simple interest formula, the interest is principal times rate times time. That's the formula. But sometimes we may need to find principal, or we might need to find rate, or we may need to find time. So this triangle that you see here is a useful way to see the formula so that you can rearrange it to what you want. So you'll see here, it has I on top for interest, and the interest is equal to the principal times the rate times the time. But let's say you want to find principal. Looking at how this is set up, how can you find the principal just looking at the layout of this? Anybody want to take a guess? How would you work out principal just looking at the layout of this? If you could derive the formula.
Would it be interest
Mhm.
divided by rate times time?
Very good, very good. So that's interest divided by rate times time. All right, just looking at the layout here, the principal is here, would be equal to interest over rate times time. And if you follow that same pattern, then you know that rate would be equal to what? Anybody else? What would rate be?
Interest divided by principal times time.
Principal times time. Very good. Okay. And then, of course, time then would be equal to interest over principal times rate. Okay. So once you can visualize that relationship that you see in this triangle form, when you want to rearrange the formula, it's easy to rearrange looking at that setup. Okay. Now, of course, you have to remember that the unit for principal is usually dollars. The unit for rate is percent. The unit for time is in years. So if you're given something other than years, then you have to put a denominator matching what you're using. Months would be out of 12. Days would be out of either 360 or 365, depending on whether you're using the exact or ordinary interest. So let's look at how we could use this rearrangement of the formula. So here, you're given a question where it says Christina Jones paid $8,000, paid the bank $8,000 interest at 5% for 90 days. How much did she borrow? So if they're asking for how much she borrowed, what are they asking for? The principal, the rate, or the time?
The principal.
The principal. All right. She paid interest of $8,000 and the rate was 5% and the time was 90 days. So you see the working here, the principal is equal to interest over rate times time. The interest she paid was $8,000 and the time, sorry, the rate was 5%, so that becomes 0.05 and the time was 90 days. Okay, so 90, now you notice they put the 90 over 360. Now in your book, what they're saying to you is that if you are not told whether to use ordinary or exact, they recommend that you use the ordinary. The question didn't tell you whether you must use ordinary or exact, so they recommend that you use ordinary. So when you get your book, you should see that somewhere around this page. Okay, so that's why they have 360 here, not 365. So once you work that out, 8,000 over 0.05 times 90 divided by 360. And that ends up giving you $640,000. 640,000 was the principal. I want you to try and work this out in your calculator, this portion here, and see if you get the answer that they have. If you don't get it, let me know so we could look at it together. So you're going to divide 8,000 by the 0.05, which is the rate, times 90 over 360. Because depending on the type of calculator you use, if you don't enter it correctly, you might not get the right answer, especially if you're using a phone as a calculator. But you can still do it using your phone, but you just have to be careful how you enter the information. So I want everybody to try it with whatever calculator they have. If you don't get the answer that's here, let me know so we can look at what you did. Give you a minute to do that. So let me call on a couple persons. Miss Minus, did you get the answer that's there on the screen?
No, I didn't get that answer. I'm using my phone.
Okay. Now, if you're using your phone, you're going to do this. You're going to say 8,000.
Okay.
Your phone, does it have brackets?
It does, yes.
Okay, so you're going to say divided by,
Uh-huh.
then you're going to open bracket,
Okay.
0.05
0.05
times 90 divided by 360.
Angel, where's the calculator?
by
Close
360.
bracket.
Close brackets and equal.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't get
You didn't
that.
get that?
Let me start that over.
Mhm.
8,000 divided by open bracket
Mhm.
0.05 times 90 divided by 360.
And then close bracket,
Close brackets.
and then
Okay.
equal.
Yes.
Okay.
640. Yes. 640,000.
Mhm.
Got it.
So so this whole bottom section must be treated as one unit. So that's why you put the whole of that in brackets if you don't have a scientific calculator. Okay. So you have to be careful with that kind of division when you are working it out. Let me call somebody else. Miss Baloo, were you able to work that with your calculator?
I keep getting 40,000.
What did you do?
I did 8,000 divided by 0.05 times 90 divided by 360.
Did you put that bottom section all in brackets?
My no, this iPhone don't have brackets.
Oh, it doesn't have bracket. Now, if you don't have brackets, what you'll have to do then, you would have to say 0.05 times 90 divided by 360. And what do you get when you do that?
0.0125.
Equal
125.
0.0125. Then what you're going to do, you're going to say 8,000 divided by 0.05. 0.0125. Try that and see what you get.
Yeah, now I get it.
Right.
640.
So if you don't have any brackets, you have to work out the top portion, but there's nothing to work out in the top portion because it's just 8,000. But and then you work out the bottom portion, and then you divide the answer, the number at the top, by the answer you get at the bottom. In fact, that's what they have.
I did that. I
Mhm.
did that before you mentioned it, but I think what happened is this last part where you divide 8,000 by 0. I was doing it backwards.
Okay.
That's
So
why.
you see right here where they have the 8,000 over the 0.125.
Yeah.
If you don't have a calculator that have brackets, then it's best to work out the top, then work out the bottom, then divide to get your answer. So
Okay.
if you put brackets, okay. All right, so let's look at the next one. Another example. John Morley borrowed 7,000 from the bank. His interest is 250 for 220 days. What is the rate of interest? Or what rate of interest did John pay? So this question clearly is asking for rate. Okay. What is the unit for rate? What is the unit for rate?
So percent.
Percent. So that means your answer has to be in a percent. All right. So the formula for rate is interest over principal times time. So in this case, the interest he paid was $350. It says his interest is $350. The amount he borrowed was his principal, which is 7,000. And then the time is 220. They didn't tell you to use exact or ordinary, so you use the ordinary, so it'll be 220 or the 360. So you divide 350, divide by, and again, if you don't have brackets, then you'll do it separately like how they have it here. But if you have brackets, you could just enter the 350, divide by, open brackets, 7,000 times 220, divide by 360, close bracket, equal, and you go straight to your answer. Now, when you do this division here, the 350 divided by 4,277.7777, you will get a decimal, okay? So you know to convert this decimal back to a percentage, what do we do? How did they get that into a percentage?
Times it by 100.
Multiply it by 100. So anytime you're asked to find the rate, when you do your calculation, your answer will be a decimal. And when you want to change that decimal to a percentage, you multiply it by 100. Now, they run it off to 2 places, but if you want to, you could run it off to 1 place, which would be 8.2. But if you run it to the nearest whole number, it would be 8. Now, they didn't tell you how much to run it off to, but oftentimes it will tell you how much to run it off to. But right now, they have it run it off to 2 decimal places. So that's how they get 8.18%. Okay. So we look at another question. This time it says Ashley Morris borrows $1,000 from the bank. The interest is $300 for 8%. How much time does Ashley have to repay the loan? So now they ask you for time. The formula for time is interest over principal times rate. So it says the interest is 300. So that's why we have the 300 on top, because interest is on top. And then the amount she borrowed was $1,000. So that's your principal. And the rate is 8%. So you simply go ahead and 300, and then 1,000 times 0.08 is 80. You divide it, you get 3.75. The unit for time is years. So this here, that's how they get it, 3.75 years. But sometimes they may ask you how many days. So if they want you to convert the years to days, then you're either going to multiply by 360 or you're going to multiply by 365. So if they ask you to do ordinary interest, which is what they ask you to do here, then you multiply that by 360. If they ask you to assume exact interest, then you multiply the 3.75 by 365 to get the amount of days. Okay, so that's an example of how we work out the time when you're given interest, principal, and rate. Okay, so we got 3 questions here. I'll give you a couple minutes to do those. So the first one is asking you to find the principal. The principal is missing. They give you the interest is 4%. The time is 90 days and the interest is $9,000. And they want you to assume 360. So they're using ordinary interest for these questions. In the second one, you got the principal, but you need to find the interest. You know the time, you know the interest. And then the third one, you know the principal, you know the interest rate, you know the simple interest, but you want to find the time. So I give you a few minutes to work on those 3, and then I'll call on you to tell me what you did. Okay, so let me see. Okay, Miss Arist, Tamika.
So number
Okay.
one, I got 90,000.
90,000, that's Tamika?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good, thank you. Anybody had an issue with that? 90,000 is the answer? We all agree?
Yes,
We all agree?
yeah.
Okay then, all right. So let me see, Miss DeVoe. What you got for the second one?
I got 8.4. 8.4.
8.4. Let me see.
No, I using a calculator. I mean, I using a phone.
Tell me what you did.
Okay, let me go my history. Okay.
What formula you use?
I did. I'm looking for the interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
So I did 280 times 6,000.
No, I'm talking about the formula. Which formula you use? You're looking for rate.
Right. So I used interest divided by principal times time.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what's the interest?
The interest is, that's the question. So the interest will be 280, sorry.
Okay, 280.
Mm-hmm.
Divided by
6,000
mm-hmm.
times 360.
Mm-hmm. How much time you see there?
Sorry, 180.
But that's days. So that's
So I have to
180.
180 divided by 360.
360. Mhm. Right. You work that out. And that should give you your answer.
Okay.
Now, you could do 280. And then when you multiply 6,000 times 180 divided by 360, what do you get?
Okay, hold on.
Just work out the bottom portion.
Times 300.
You sure it's 300? How many zeros you see there?
Sorry, 3,000.
Okay, 3,000. So now you're going to say 280 divided by 3,000.
0.093.
Continue. Just tell me all of it.
0.09333.
Okay. Now that's the rate as a decimal. So now you're gonna change that to percentage.
Times. You divide it over 100.
No, you multiply it by 100.
Sorry, multiply by 100. 9,333 times 100. 9.333.
Okay, we just give it to 2.
Okay, 9.33.
Percent.
Percent. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Let me. Not yet. Okay. Marsh. What you got for the third one?
I didn't finish it yet.
Well, tell me what you did so far.
For number one, the answer was 90,000.
Hold on, somebody.
Oh, mine, no.
Okay. Okay, so Ms. Marsh, yeah, so what you did?
No, I didn't finish it yet because I still was stuck on number one, where the answer was 90,000.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
You
got
didn't get-
900,000.
Okay, so okay, so that you're supposed to find the principal for that one. So
Mhm.
principal is equal to interest over
So that's a 350. My goodness.
over
Yeah,
rate.
and 9,000
So
times
interest is how much?
9,000.
Put the 9,000 on top, and the rate is
0.04.
0.04, and the time is
90 times divided by 360. And I got
so,
for the bottom, I got 0.01.
okay, so let me see. That's you show 0.01. So that's okay, 0.01.
Yes, sir.
Check that calculation there. So that's
Yeah, I
90.
still got 100,000.
Oh, 90 divided by 360, equal that, and times 0.04. Yeah, that's correct. So when you divide the 9,000 by 0.01, what do you get?
900,000.
Okay, so that wasn't the answer we gave at the beginning.
No, y'all saying
90.
Oh, no, 900,000 is the answer. I don't know.
oh,
Probably
because I was about to tell you
Yeah,
go back.
that-
Oh,
no, but you all have to say, when
I
if the
was
answer.
lost.
I thought it was because I was doing something with my wait till you finish.
Okay. Once you don't get the answer that we have, say it so we could go back over it so we could see, either we wrong or you wrong. But one of us, we want to all end up with the same thing. So if we don't end up with the same thing, let us know so we could look back over it. But it's 900,000. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the correct thing. Yeah. All right. Anybody finish the third one?
I did.
And what you got?
The days is 1,267 for 20. I think that's right. I'm not sure.
Okay, so let's see what you did.
I did the interest over the principal times, right?
Okay, so we're looking for time in this one, so it's going to be equal to interest over principal times rate. So the interest is
190.
190, okay. And the principal is
900
100, and the rate is
times 0.06.
0.06. All right, so you're going to say 190. When you multiply 900 times 0.06, you get
54.
54.
Okay.
And then you're going to say 190 divided by 54.
Is 3.52.
3.52. And that would be 3.52. What unit?
Yeah, yes. Just
Okay. Okay. That 3.52 is exact or it went
no,
on?
it's 3.5185. I just rounded to
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Now, when you're doing calculations like this, okay, you go around 2 decimal places, that's reasonable. And then if
Okay.
you want to change it to days, because you were using the ordinary interest, then you would say 3.52 times 360,
P, yes,
and that would tell you how much it is in days. And
yes.
I think 1, 2, 6,
6, 7,
7.
spot 20.
You mean 0.20?
Yes, that's what I
Okay, now
got. 3.5, 2 times
well,
360. 127, spot 2, sorry.
1, 2, 6,
6,
7.
7, spot 2.
What do you mean when you say spot 2?
0.2.
Oh, 0.2. Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
sorry.
because we're doing days, just give it to the nearest day. So you
Okay,
just 2, 6, 7 days.
okay.
Yeah, and that should do. Okay. All right. So that's it for rearranging the simple interest formula. Okay. So now we are going to stretch you a little bit more to go to what happens when you take a loan and you make payments before the due date. All of these questions that we have looked at so far, you take a loan and you make the payment at the end. You just make one payment to pay off the loan. But in this section here, which would be on 270 of your book, they're looking at what happens when you make partial payment before the due date. How do you account for those partial payments? So what they're saying here, which I think most of you should, because all of you seem to be in the financial industry, so you should have a basic understanding of how loans work. Most loans these days, you don't pay off the full thing at the end. You make partial payments towards it. Usually it's the same amount each month. But in this exercise, they're not necessarily going to make the same payment each month or each necessarily on a monthly basis. They'll just go and make a payment, then they recalculate their balance, then make another payment, recalculate the balance, and then you find out what the final balance due is. So it says here that any partial payment first covers the interest that has built up. So when you make a payment to the bank before your loan final due date is due, whatever interest is due for the period up to the time when you make the payment, they take that interest out first. And then whatever is left after the bank take out the interest, the rest of that goes to reduce the loan principal. And so this is what they refer to as the US rule, making partial payment. I don't know why they call it US rule, because that's something that is done all over the world as far as I know. Once you make a payment, the interest comes out first, and then whatever is left after the bank take out the interest goes towards reducing your loan. So this is an example of this. So this one is a little bit more involved than the questions we were looking at before. So this one says that this person, Joe Mills, owes $5,000 on an 11% 90-day note. So the person have a 90-day loan and the rate is 11% and the amount they borrowed was 5,000. So this is now saying that on day 50, so the loan is for 90 days, but the person didn't wait for 90 days to pay it off. On day 50, the person made a payment of $600 on the loan. On day 80, the person made a payment of $800 on the loan. They want you to use ordinary interest because they say assume a 360-day year. What is Joe's adjusted balance after day 50 and after day 80? what is the ending balance due? Okay. Everybody understand what the question is asking? I'm not asking if you understand how to work it out. I just know if you picture what the question is asking. Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody don't picture it? All right, I didn't hear any answers, so I guess we all have a sense of what it's asking for. So I'll just read it over again. You get a loan for 5,000. The loan is for 90 days, and the rate is 11%. You're not going to wait until the 90 day to pay off the loan. You're going to make a payment on day 50 of $600. Then you're going to make another payment on day 80 of $800. And so they want you now to work out when you make the payment on day 50, and also when you make the payment on day 80, what is your adjusted balance? And then how much is due at the end? That's just your ending balance. So step one, the first thing according to this, anytime you're making partial payment, is to work out the interest for that period. Okay, so our first period is 50 days. So what we're going to do is find out how much interest is due on day 50. And to do that, we're going to say we got $5,000. It's 11% interest. Is for 50 days because we're making a payment on day 50. The full loan is actually 90 days, but we are not waiting for 90 days. We're going to make a payment on day 50. So you work it out, 5,000, 11% becomes 0.11 times 50 over 360, and it works out to $76.39. So what this is saying is that the bank is going to take $76.39 out of your payment, which was $600. You made $600 payment, but that $600 is not all going to go to reduce your loan, okay? Because the bank have to get their interest first. So their interest is $76.39. So that's going to come out of your 600. So you see here, they subtract the $76.39 from your $600. And so of that $600 is left $523.61. This $76.39 is going to the bank, and this $523.61, that's going to come out of the money that you owe the bank. So your new balance now is going to be $476.39. So the bank took out their interest. What's left? $523.61. That's going to reduce your balance by that. Okay. If the bank had not taken out their interest, what would actually be your balance if you make a $600 payment? Anybody want to guess that? If the bank didn't take out this $76.39, what would be the amount that your balance would be if you make a payment of $600?
Would it be 4,400?
It would be
4,400?
4,400 because the bank that all of that 600 will go to reduce your loan. But because they want their interest first, the whole amount is not going to go to your loan because they want their $76.39 for the first 50 days of the loan. So your balance is not 4,400, it's going to be $4,476. So you're going to owe a little more because the bank took out their amount. So that's your amount due after the first payment is made. That's your what they call adjusted balance. So at the beginning, your balance was 5,000, but after that adjustment was made, your balance is now $4,476.39. Now you made another payment on day 80, and that payment was $800. So we have to work out now how much interest is due on day 80. So your balance is not 5,000 anymore. Your balance is now $4,476.39. The interest rate is still 11%. But why is it that they have 30 here and not 80 if your payment was made on day 80? Why is 30 here?
Because it's 30 days later
Very
between
good.
30 and 80.
Right. They can't double charge you because you already paid for the first 50 days. So now 30 days later, you're making another payment. So since they already got money for the first 50 days, now this 80 days would be 30 days later. So you put the 30 over 360. So the interest for this second period now would be $41.03 based on the calculation here. So you're going to take out the $41.03 from the $800 payment that you made. And so now your amount that's going to apply to the loan is $758.97. It's not going to be the full $800 because the bank took out their $41.03 first. Then, because your balance was $4,476.39, after the bank took out the interest out of the $800, what's left? You're going to take that from your adjusted balance. So your new balance after the second payment is $3,717.42. Okay, so we still have how many more days left on this loan? Anybody? How many more days left on the loan?
10.
10 more days. So we're not quite finished. So we have 10 more days. So we didn't make any other payment. We only made 2 payments, but for the when it comes to the 90 days, we still have to pay the balance that we owe. So since we have 10 more days left on the loan, our second adjusted balance was $3,717.42. The interest rate is 11%. 10 more days on the loan, so that's 10 over 360. That works out to $11.36. And so we're going to take that $11.36 out of the $3,717.40. Sorry, not take it out. You have to pay the bank it. Sorry, you're going to add it because you have to pay that interest for that last period. The other 2 times we take it away, but this last period we haven't paid it yet because you didn't make any payments. They're going to add it there. And so your final adjusted balance is $3,728.78. So this is what you're going to have to pay the bank on day 90 to cancel the loan. Okay? Anybody have a question on that? You think you follow it? You follow it?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. They have a little video here in the book, but I'm not sure I need to play it, but it basically goes through the same procedure. So in the interest of time, I think I'll skip that. Let me see that. It doesn't want to skip. What are you not seeing this up? Okay. So I give you one to try. And Maybe we could go through it together. Yeah, maybe we could do that. So we go step by step. So let me see now. All right, so it says Sean Russell borrowed $17,000 on a 120-day 12% note. After 65 days, Sean paid $2,000 on the note. On day 89, Sean paid another $4,000. What is the finance balance due? Okay. So let me start with Miss Damika. And tell me, what's the first thing you need to do?
Take out the interest.
Okay, so we have to find the interest.
Yes,
How are we
sir.
going to calculate the interest there?
We're going to calculate the interest by the amount of the loan
How much
times
is
the rate,
what is that? What is the amount of the loan?
17,000,
17,000. Mm-hmm.
times it by 0.12
0.12. Mm-hmm.
and times it by 65 over 360.
Okay, they tell you use ordinary. Okay, 360. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. You have to work it out and tell me what you get.
I
I
got
got 360.
3.68.
Say that again.
3.68.33.
How much money is that?
$368.33.
Oh, 360.
8.
Mm-hmm. Point.
33 and put 33 cents.
Okay. Are we all in agreement with that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I'll go with what you have then. Okay, so that's $368.33. So that is the interest for the first 65 days of the loan when that payment is made. So what are we going to do with that interest once we work it out? For 65 days, the first Miss Baloo, we got $368.33. What we're gonna do next after we get?
Take it away from the 17,000.
No,
No.
no.
Find a partial payment.
How much money did we pay on day 65, Miss Baloo?
Oh, 2,000. Take it away from the 2,000.
Right. So that the purpose of us making this calculation is to find out how much interest is due on the day when we made the payment. The day when we made the payment was day 65, and the payment was $2,000. The bank want to get their interest out of that 2,000 before they apply it to your loan. So the $2,000 that you paid, they're going to take out their interest, which we worked out to be 368.33. So how much will be left out of that 2,000 when the bank take out their 368.33?
$1,631.67.
Say that again.
1,631. 31.
631.67.
0.67.
Thank you. So after the bank take out their the interest out of the 2,000 that you paid, this is what is left, $1,631.67. Okay, so that was Miss Baloo. So Miss DeVoe, what we're gonna do next?
Subtract the remainder payment from the
Mhm.
principal.
Okay.
So you'll take,
17,000.
so it'll be the 17,000 minus 163167.
0.67. And how much you get?
Hold on 1 minute. 16367. 15,368.33.
So what is that amount representing?
That is the payment, that'll be a principal payment after you already take away the interest. No?
Okay, so the interest was 368. And when you take it out for your payment that you made,
Mm-hmm.
you have 1,631. And you're gonna so now you're gonna reduce your loan by that 1,631.
Mm-hmm.
So now this 15,368 is what you now owe the bank.
Okay.
What did you owe the bank before?
Before you owed, we owed them 17,000.
17,000. But after you made your 2,000 payment and they take out their interest,
Mm-hmm.
this is what you now owe. $15,268.33.
Okay.
All right. So now we're going to
Yes,
the
sir.
next phase. So Miss Marsh, what's the next phase?
So you will put the balance on. I mean, no. You will have to calculate the difference in the days.
Okay. What's the difference in the days?
So it'll be 120 minus 89. That's
No.
55.
Okay. This is Miss Marsh. Miss
Yes, sir.
Marsh, we stopped right here. This is where this
Hold on.
all working. Stop right here. We're going to the next phase. What the next phase says. You could read what the
On
next phase
day
says.
89, Sean paid an additional $4,000.
Okay. So what we do if you pay $4,000, you think the bank is going to put all that 4,000 on the loan?
No, you have to calculate the bank's interest.
Right. So how are you going to calculate the bank interest?
So you will take your balance that was left.
Mm-hmm.
It was $15,368.33.
Mm-hmm.
And multiply that by the rate, which is
Mhm.
0.12,
Mm-hmm.
times it by the days left.
Okay. It won't be the days left. It will be the
I
days
mean,
the days after 65 days up to 89. So how many days is it from 65 to 89?
24.
24 days. 24 and 65 is 89. So that's 24 days over 360. All right. So you have to work out now how much interest is owed from day 65 to day 89, which is 24 days on the balance that we now owe the bank, which is $15,268.33. So when we work that out, how much we get?
We get 100 and hold on.
Let me see.
I get 110,
Mm-hmm.
110 and 65 cents.
Anybody else get that?
No, I get 122.95.
Okay. So Miss who's that again? That's Miss Marsh.
Yes, sir.
Tell me how you calculate that. What did you multiply?
Hmm.
Just call it out. Call out what you did. The numbers.
Oh, so I had to divide the 24 by 360 first
Mm-hmm.
to get that decimal, and then I did the 15,368 because I thought I
0.33.
did it wrong first.
Mm-hmm.
But when I do it over, I got 122.95.
Okay. So that's correct then. It's $122.95. Okay, so that is the interest that's due when you made that payment on day 89, which is 24 days after day 65. And how much payment did we make at that time?
4,000.
4,000. So now you're gonna have to take that 122.95 from the 4,000. So 4,000 minus the 122.95 gives us a balance of
3,877.05.
3,877.05. Okay. Sorry. So where do we go from there?
You have to take the 3,877.05 from the remaining principal.
Okay, so that's 15,368.33 minus the 3,877.05, which gives us
11,491.28.
11,491.28. Now, what is that 11,491.28 representing?
The remaining principal.
Okay, so your remaining principal is 11,491.28. So now you have one more payment to make to finish this off. You didn't make any additional payments, but you still have to finish the loan. So you have one more payment to make. And how long are you going to wait to make that last payment? How many more days?
31.
Oh, you got 31.
The 89 from 120.
Okay, so 120 minus 89 would give you said 31?
Yeah.
So you're going to say now 11,491.28 times 0.12 times, you said 31 over 360. Let me see, Miss Minus.
Hi,
Yes,
yes,
you calculated that?
I'm doing it right now.
Okay, so I want you to give me that.
2 times I got 118.74.
Okay, 118.74. Okay. Now what is that 118.74 representing, Miss Manus?
That is his interest, adjusted interest
Okay, so that interest
balance.
is how much is owed for the last, how many days?
31 days.
31 days. So when he ready to pay off this loan now, how are we gonna find out how much has to pay off? His
You had
final,
to take it from the principal, which is
take it?
11,491. Sorry, add it. Add
Right.
it to the principal, add
Right.
the 11,491.
So the final balance then would be his principal of 11,491.28 plus that $118.74.
Yes,
And
and
that
that'll be 11,610.02.
okay. Okay. So it's a little lengthy, but once you follow the steps, if you make a payment, you have to calculate the interest that's due on the day of the payment. Take that interest away from the payment and then use what's left to reduce the principal. And you do that for each payment. And at the end, you need to find out how much time is left on the loan, work on the interest for that period of time, and then you're going to add it to the adjusted principal to find your ending balance due. Okay. So y'all are quite alert tonight. I hope we keep it up throughout the next 13 lessons. I think you did well. So I'm going to, that basically ends our lesson for tonight. As we usually try to and half an hour, because normally you would have a break in between. So we'll just do the break at the end. But I want to spend some time looking at the homework. Okay. So Ms. DeVoe, you have a very responsive mic there. So if you look at the homework, it says here, Learning Unit 10-1, pages A39 to A40, questions 1B, 1C, 2B, 2C, etc., etc. Then Learning Unit 10-2, pages A40 to A42, questions blah, blah, blah. And then Learning Unit 10-3, page. Okay, so if you have the book, once you see this here says A something, it means it's at the back, appendix 40. Okay, so these pages are at the back of the book. Okay, now what I did, since Miss Dean told me they don't have the book yet, I copied the pages, so it's right on the document I sent you. So Learning Unit 10-1, so you see Learning Unit 10-1, and then it says 1B, 1C, so that's 1B right here, 1C. Ignore this 1A, that was in the book that I had, so it was already circled. But 1B, 1C, then 2B, 2C, that's 2B, 2C, oops. And then 3B, 3C, 3B, 3C. Then it says question 4. So question 4 is right here. Then we're going to move on to the next page. It tells you you're going to do question 6, 7, and 9. So that's 6, 7, 9. And then learning unit 10-2, the question numbers are there. You just follow that. And then 10-2 continues here. Then we continue. And then we have 10-3, and it tells you which questions to do in that. And we go from there. The answers are right here. So learning unit 10-1, 1B answer, 1C answer, 2B answer, 2C answer, and so on. All the answers are there. And then, okay, then you go to continue to 10-2. These are the answers, 1B, 1C, 2B, 2C. And then learning unit 10-3. The answers is 2 questions. Question 2, question 4. Answers are right there. Okay. So when you do the homework, on Saturday, I will ask to see your homework. And once I see that it's done, I'll just tick that we did it, and you get a point. And if you do all the homework all together, that end up, that gives you 4 points in total for having done your homework. And that can be a great help in the overall scheme of things. So it's good practice, and it builds up your skill. So don't ignore it because you think it doesn't work as much. It is really designed to cause you to practice and to build up your skill. All right. So the answers are there. And so when we come to class next on Saturday, if you work it out and you don't see how to get the answer that's there, then you could mention it and we could go through it in the class. Okay. And so that's it. Any questions? We're all clear?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes,
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for your attention and have a good night. And God's willing, we'll see you on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock at the VIFS classroom. Okay.
Good night.
All right.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Get in.